Here is the Haftarah for Parshat Noach. As promised, I would try to get all the Haftarot for the year. So as usual, I will chant a good amount of it and then have some comments at some point before we continue. Parshat Noach from Yeshayahu. Roni akara lo yalada pitzchi rina havetzahali lo chala ki rabim bnei shomem ma mi bnei ve'ula amar Adonai harchivi mekom oholech Viriot mishkenotayich yatu al tachsochi ha'arichi metarayich viteidotayich chazeki ki yaminu smol tifrotzi vezar'ech goyim yirash Ve'arim neshamot yoshivu al tirihi ki lo tevoshi ve'al tikalmi ki lo tachpiri ki voshet alumayich tishkachi ve'cherpat almenutayich lo tizkeri od Ki vo'alayich osayich Adonai tzevaot shemo ve'go'alech kedosh Yisrael Elohei chol ha'aretz yikarei Ki cheisha azuva va'atzuvat ruach Kira'ach Adonai ve'eshet neurim ki tima'es amar Elohayich berega katon azavtich uverachamim gedolim akabtzech beshetzef ketzef histarti Fanai rega mimech uvechesed olam richamtich amar goalech Adonai ki mei Noach zot li asher nishbati me'avor mei Noach od al haaretz Kein nishbahati miksof alayich umigorbach ki heharim yamushu vehagvaot timutena vechasdihi meitech lo yamush Uverihit shalomi lo tamut Amar merachamech Adonai. Now that's an option. The Sephardim Messiah Khan is what it says here. It means that that's where many Sephardic congregations end this Haftarah. If that is not the case, you would just end Amar merachamech Adonai and go on. Aniyah Sowara. Now let me tell you a few things about this. You have right from the very beginning a A vowel called a kamatz. Let's see if I can get that in the camera. Good. And I circle them in my book. That is called a kamatz katan, and it is pronounced Roni, not Rani. You have a bunch of those that occur, and you'll hear them on the recording. Oholech, in that case, it's both in the third line That's the second verse, third word. It is pronounced oholech. Ahalech wouldn't just be different, it would be really wrong. There's a couple of other little things I wanted to point out. Oh, how cool would it be if on the third verse you really showed that you knew something about what you were saying by saying ki yaminu smol, the right and the left, tifrotzi, they go out, they extend out. That might be nice. Continuing in this Haftarah, I'm looking here if there's really an interesting sequence of trope here in verse Chet. First, you start off with this little tongue twister, Beshetzef Ketzef, and then on the next line, this is unusual to not have a mapach. Now, I would prefer that you don't change the trope. It's kadma on histarti, and then fanai would be mercha going into tipcha, but here you would run the mercha into the pashta, but don't add a mapach when there isn't one here on fanai. So this is histarti, fanai rega. Now what's happening with those two pashtiyot on the word rega? Well, the first one is telling you that the accent goes on the resh. And the second one is making sure that you don't mistake it for a kadma like you have on histarti. Because that trope, if it doesn't appear on the last letter, it is a kadma rather than a pashta. Of course, I always add in the caveat that it could be a bad publisher. But in this case, this is perfectly printed. I use the Katav old-fashioned book where they still spread out some of the letters, but I'm used to it, so that doesn't mean that something else you would use. What do I mean by spreading out the letters? Look at how that mem is so long. Just the way they do things. Another thing for new readers or readers who haven't read in a while, verse 6, towards the end of it, ki tima es. This is when a samech and a mem sufit can be so easily mistaken when a samech comes as the last letter of the word. Of course, the difference is the bottom right-hand corner of the letter samech, but when it falls on the last letter of the word, it's really easy to think that it's a mem sofit. Now, in verse 9, tet, ki me Noach zot li, everything is normal until you get the last word on the line, me'avor. That mercha that comes before a tivir gets the outside notes of a darga tivir. So you have darga tivir. So when you have the little z, that's a darga, followed by a tivir, which is like a mercha with the dot in the middle, the little comma with the dot in the middle. Well, when you have the mercha before a tivir, it gets the outside notes. So it's kind of cool. I like it. Me'avor me'noach. Then you get another one just a couple words later. Kein nishbahati. Miksof alayif. And there's a kamatz katan. Last word of that verse 9. Umigor bach. Umigor bach. Okay. That's enough for now. I wish you all the luck in the world. If you need the rest of it, just give me a holler. You've got all my contact information there. I'd be happy to do it for you.